Hi, I'm Chris Maragakis of Simply Be Retreats and Therapies. I'm a life coach, therapist and podcaster. Welcome to Mindful Mutterings. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me and welcome. So this week I'm talking about 5 ways that you can be happy. Because our natural state when we're born is happiness and curiosity. And, generally babies only get upset when they're wet, tired, hungry or in pain. And then the sad thing is that we're conditioned out of this happy and curious state as we grow up. You know how it goes. Be quiet, stop asking questions, because I say so, grow up, be sensible. And on it goes until by the time we are adults, happiness is no longer our default emotion. And sometimes we have to really work at finding happiness again. So here are my 5 ways that you can bring happiness back into your life. So first one is mind your own business, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Byron Katie says that there are only 3 types of business in the world. There's my business, there's your business, and there's God's business. And my business is what I think and how I behave. Your business is how you think and behave. And God's business is everything else: the weather, war, famine, natural disasters, life and death. And we are only unhappy when we're interfering in someone else's business. When we think that they should behave in a certain way, or they should think the same as us, or that death or earthquakes shouldn't happen. But the truth is, we've got no way of knowing what is true in those situations. What we think is best for someone might not necessarily be the case. And it's not our choice to make anyway, or our business to interfere. So instead, we should be focusing on what we think and how we behave, so that we can do what's the best for us and consequently those around us, or subsequently those around us. My second top tip is to take responsibility for your life. So when we understand that it's our choices that have caused our life to be the way it is, we can then choose to do something about the parts that aren't working out so well for us. And lots of people find that a really hard concept to take on board. No one made us create this life. We've done it because we've made choices along the way. And we can't blame anyone else for those choices, because unless we were, locked up or strong-armed or whatever, we've made those choices of our own free will. We might not necessarily like the result of those choices, but we can't change them while we're blaming someone else. We need to own the decisions that we've made, and possibly the mistakes that we've made, so that we can then take ownership for the way that we work and progress through life, and then we can try and change it. So when we're projecting our feelings onto someone else, that person made me sad, this person makes me happy because they said blah, blah, blah. What we're actually doing is we're giving our power away to these other people. And then we become, weak in a way, because we've given away the very essence of ourselves, our autonomy and our free will, to someone else to control. So instead of proactively participating in our lives, we're passively being led by others. And this will always, always cause dissatisfaction or a lack of fulfillment somewhere in our psyche, because we know that that's not addressing who we really are. Third one is acceptance versus expectation. So I've talked about this in other podcasts, but we all have an idea of how things should be. Mothers should behave in a certain way, lovers should behave in a certain way, and we don't like it when that's not what we're seeing. But if we can step back from the emotions and analyse what we're feeling, and really look at the other person that's involved in this situation and see them for who they are, not who we think they should be or who we would like them to be, then we can really start to understand whether they're actually capable of what it is we're asking of them. And if we're not, then how can we get angry for expecting someone to do something they're not capable of, Or how can we put this person under pressure when they just don't have the skills to deliver what it is we're asking of them? And so when we start to see that, and especially if it's a behaviour that they're exhibiting that we really don't like, and we can see that this person actually, if they think that's an okay way to behave, we can then start to question what kind of life they've had, What have they experienced in their life that makes them think that this is an acceptable way to be? And once we start to question that, instead of just being angry at this person, we can start to bring compassion in, because actually they must have had a pretty rough ride to think that this is an okay way to behave. And once we bring compassion into the situation, firstly, we can look for strategies to move forward with it. But also, the power that we've given this person suddenly isn't there. They're not this spectre in our lives that controls our lives. It's our projection of what we think of them that is causing us the pain. And so we can take that back and we can start to work through it. And then we can lower our expectations of this person. We can be realistic in what we expect for them. And then, of course, they have the power to impress us. They have the power to change and elevate and move on and be more. But at least we're not constantly setting ourselves up for failure and expecting them to do something that they're just not capable of. And then obviously that goes back to point number one when we're trying to change people, in that that's not our business. You know, let us focus on our business. Let's let everybody else focus on their business, and everyone will be happier for it. My fourth point is go with the flow. You cannot control every situation. It's not your job to fix the world. You can't hold on to grudges from the past and expect to be happy. And you are not responsible for other people's happiness. You cannot create a perfect, safe world. Life will happen in spite of you, and nothing ever stays the same. Everything is changing all the time. In the time that you've listened to this podcast, people have died, people have been brought into the world, you know, cells in our body have changed. Maybe other people have been exposed to ideas that's radically changed their life. Everything moves on. Nothing stays the same, and that is the natural order. But for some reason, we fear this change, and we desperately, desperately try to keep things the same. And that's what causes so much stress and unhappiness in our life. So it's just about letting go of all that responsibility, because when we do, we stop putting ourselves under so much pressure, and that enables us then to go through our life being kind and compassionate and going with the flow and allowing things to go through their natural order. And then number 5, choose to be happy. You know, life is going to happen no matter what we think or try to do about it. And the only thing that we have any power over, the only thing that we can ever do, is choose how to respond to it. So you might as well choose to be happy. You know, you might as well choose to be positive and full of love and joy, because by doing so, you're not triggering your stress response. And so that will enable you to think more clearly and problem solve easier and more efficiently. And then you can choose how you communicate with people, because you'll be able to verbalize what it is that you want to say, because there's no adrenaline flowing through you and your ego's not in the way. And so that means you can choose to speak with kindness and act with compassion. And this will reduce misunderstandings and conflict in your life. And by doing all of this, you're going to attract more positivity into your life. And so that will give you more things to be happy and grateful for, and so you'll be happier naturally. And this is going to have a knock-on effect into your relationships, because they'll be better because you're able to communicate more openly. Your stress will be reduced, your opportunities for love and joy will be increased, and your life will flow easier, all of which will make you happy. And so these are my 5 tips for living a happier life. And as always, if you want to know more, get in touch with me via the website simplybe.org.uk, or if you think that we'd be a good match and you want to start your coaching journey with me, then you can get in touch with me either via the website, or you can WhatsApp message or call me on 07974 618 499. But whatever you do this week, choose to be happy. You know, it makes such a difference. You'll really notice a difference. In fact, give it a go and let me know how you get on. But thank you very much for listening this week, and I hope you join me next week for the next one. Take care.